Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about regular expressions. Remember that a regular expression is just a set, right? A regular expression represents a language which represents a set. So, for example, if I talk about the regular expression A, right, that just represents the language that is a set that contains a single element called A, right? It's just a language with one word in it, and that, or one string in it, and that string just happens to be a singleton letter, right? In contrast, if I'm talking about a star, right, that regular expression, that also represents a set of strings, right? It just happens to be an infinite set of strings in this case, so it would be lambda and then A. Oops, that's an A, and then AA, and then a triple A, right? And so on, right? And another way we can write A star if we're writing it as a set, of course, is we could write it as the set A to the n such that n is an element of the natural numbers, because the natural number starts at 0. But those are both A star, right? So let's talk about some other regular expressions just to kind of look at how does this correspond to a set of strings, right? What's a language? It's a set of strings. What's a regular expression? It's just a shorthand for a set of strings. So I could have, for example, the language A plus B plus CB star, right? That's my regular expression. What set does that represent? Well, that represents a set. Remember, the plus is union. And this CB star is really the same as C dot B star, right? We get rid of the dot because just like in algebra, I'm going to write some algebra, some math in here, right? If I write 4x plus 7 as a mathematical expression, right, that really means 4 times x plus 7, but we never write the dot because we get lazy. Similarly, we don't write the dot that's up here in the corner. And so, but A plus B plus C B star, right, that's a regular expression that represents a set of strings. Remember, the plus sort of represents union most of the time, so if we do a direct translation, that's the set containing just one letter A unioned with the set containing just one letter or one string, right? These are letters and strings. B unioned with the set. Now let's look at this. This is the set where we have a C followed by 0 or more B's. So we could write that as C B to the n such that n is a natural number, right? That's sort of the short way we can write that. We could also write it as the set A unioned with the set B unioned with, let's see, we have to do a pattern. Whenever I like to do patterns, I like to do, are there any strings of length 0? Not for this case because the shortest thing is just a C, but there's one of length 1 and one length 2 and one of length 3 and so on, right? Or we could write this as a single set. So we could just write, well, there's A and there's B, and then there's all the rest of the stuff at the end here, so we could say C, CB. And as long as you show me a set that, as long as you show me a pattern in here, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt as long as you show me a pattern that I can kind of see where it's going. And generally, I recommend you start with the shortest strings and go longer and longer. Okay, so let's talk about another example of a regular expression. Suppose we have A star plus C star plus D star, right? Remember, the plus is union, right? So that's actually the language that just has the string A, but we star it. Remember, we can star languages, right? And we can star alphabets. We can't actually put the star inside of the set. So we can use the star on the outside for regular expressions like this, and we can also use it inside for, outside of a set like this. So that's A star unioned with the set containing C star, unioned with the set that has just one string, which is the string D, and we star that, right? What is the set A star? It's everything that has 0 or more occurrences of A, so we're talking lambda, followed by A, followed by AA, followed by AAA, and so on. And we're unioning that with this C star, which is lambda followed by C, 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 and so on. And then we're following that, we're unioning that with lambda and D and DD and DDD and so on. So if I take the union of all three of those, then I end up with this set, right? And now I'm going to try and do the set in an order where I have the symbols in sort of length order so I can show a pattern. So lambda is the only string of length 0. I've got a string A, a string C, and string D. Those are all of length 1. And then what else have I got? I've got AA, I've got CC, I've got DD, and so on. Notice I don't have any mixture, right? If I'm looking at this regular expression here, right, the A star plus C star plus D star, when I translate that into a set, this is the union of 3 different languages, right? And each of these languages is independent, so I don't mix up any of the letters in here, okay? All right, let's talk about something else. What if instead of doing that A star plus B star plus, sorry, A star plus C star plus D star, what if I change it up a little bit? So the previous thing that we just did was A star plus C star, sorry, plus D star. But now I want to look at this language, which is A plus C plus D, and then star that whole thing, right? So what is that in terms of sets? That's take the set that contains the union of these 3 things in the middle, so A, C, and D, and then star that set. So now we are coming up with every string that you make by taking 0 or more copies of things from in here. So now we can mix up the letters, right? In this first case, it was this set union with this set union with this set. In the second case, we union the individual strings and then we take the star. So now our language looks more like this. We still have lambda, right? That's of 0 length. And then in terms of strings of length 1, we still have A, C, and D. But now when we start talking about strings of length 2, we could have any combination of strings here we want. So we could have AA, we could have AC, we could have AD, we could have CA, CC, CD, DA, DC, DD, and you know, if you write something like this and you're showing me, look, here's all the things of length 0, length 1, length 2, I'll accept your pattern and say, yeah, look at that, that's pretty good. Okay, so now we have looked at, let's see, we did A plus C star plus D star. Oops, was it A star plus D star? Yeah. And we also, oops, it's not letting me star very well. And we also did A plus C plus D quantity starred. Now let's go on for something different. Now let's try, what if we do this regular expression, A, C, D star. Now notice that I've squished them all up together. That's because I'm using the dot operator, right? I didn't put the dot in there, but it's the same as putting the dot in there. And so what does this mean? This means I can take, the star means 0 or more times anything in this set. But what's in this set? In this set is just one string. It's the string that squishes together A and C and D, right? So this is ACD, the string ACD starred, right? So what does that set equal? That set equals lambda, because you take 0 of them, followed by ACD, there's 1 of them, and ACD, ACD, there's 2 of them, and maybe we'll go for a 3 as well. And that's it, okay? And keep going. All right, so let's try one last example. Let me just write down, what did we just do? So we just did ACD, and that whole thing starred. Okay, and let's just do one more example, which is, what if I do A star plus C star plus D star, and the whole thing starred, right? So this is saying I can take, let's see, this language, I'm going to take the language that has anything that has 0 or more A's in it, right? And the language that has 0 or more C's in it, the language that has 0 or more D's in it, But because I put a star on the outside here too, what I'm saying is I can take 0 or more copies of anything from in here, right? And since before, when we were talking about this language here, it turned out that we had, it's basically any string that we can make out of A's, C's, and D's, including the empty string, right? If you think about it, that's exactly the same thing we've got here, because I could just take 0 or more A's here and star it, or 0 or more C's here, star it, 0 or more D's here, star it. Well, you know, what if I just take one A, then I just get the string A? What if I just take one C, then I just get the string C? What if the star says I take 2 of these, so maybe I do an A followed by a C? If you follow this to the, and you just kind of play with it for a little bit, you'll discover that this regular expression here is exactly the same as the regular expression, as the regular expression A plus C plus D, the whole thing starred. And what do I mean by exactly the same? I mean they represent the same language, right? The same set of strings. The strings that are represented by this first language, well, call this one the first one that has the star, exactly the same set of strings as the ones that are represented by that one.